And yesterday, you know what happened, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman?
they made a mistake.
The
He's
Trump
in
administration
not
admitted
trendy
that
aragua.
he made a mistake.
Dumbass.
He was not actually a gangbanger. He was not a criminal. It was all a mistake. If there'd been due process,
they're illegal aliens. They're not Americans. Are they subject to due process?
Well, all's well that ends well, right?
No. They're a terrorist organization also.
Can do about it now
you
because he's no
are
longer
supporting
a
a terrorist organization, Jamie Raskins. Congratulations.
Married to a U.S. citizen.
And then you got some real nerve calling a president of El Salvador that has practically no crime in his country no more, locked up all the gangbangers and killers and all and drug dealers and everything in his country, and you call him a dictator. I don't believe that you guys still vote for this man in Maryland. I don't live in Maryland. Congratulations. That's all I can say to you. I ain't vote for him.
Judge Boasberg was first named to the bench by President Bush. He was Justice Kavanaugh's roommate at Yale. Known in legal quarters as a very conservative judge, but they want to impeach him because he stood up for the
reason why they want to impeach Judge Boasberg is because he was one of the judges on the Pfizer court that allowed the warrant for Trump's campaign to be eavesdropped on, right? By the FBI. What's that, Comey or whatever? And then also because now he oversteps his boundaries and thinking that he's more powerful than the president, the executive branch. Article 2. Let's not forget it, Jamie Raskins.
Trump and Musk
You're a constitutional lawyer.
Violating the Constitution and breaking the law to trample the rights of the people and steal our data, fire excellent federal workers en masse, and dismantle congressionally created government agencies and programs, from the VA and Medicaid to NOAA, NIH, and Social Security, which Elon Musk called, quote, the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time. When brave Americans go to court to defend themselves against the President of the United States and the richest man in the world, these judges from across the political spectrum are showing up to work, and they're showing America why we have an independent judiciary. And yes, I've got to tell my friend Chairman Jordan that even if you campaign on doing something unconstitutional, like naming people kings and queens, or stealing other people's money, no, that doesn't make it constitutional, even if you campaigned on it. And the vast majority of the things here, I never heard of them campaigning on. But in any event, it's irrelevant to the job of the courts. Anyone who's read any of the decisions knows that what we're witnessing today is a matchless constitutional crime spree by a rogue president and his Doge enforcer, a government contractor who has pocketed $38 billion from the taxpayers, multiples more than he has ever even claimed to have saved us. And we know how Doge makes typos, converting millions into billions. Read the decisions. Look at these cases, finding that Trump violated Congress's spending power and usurped our lawmaking power under Article 1. Read the cases, finding that Trump violated the First Amendment free speech rights, the Fifth Amendment due process rights, the Sixth Amendment counsel rights of the people, even by discriminating by name against law firms and lawyers, actually banning specific firms and lawyers from federal buildings and courthouses, federal contracts and federal employment, all simply because they dared to represent their clients, and Trump hates them. Now, out of this mountain of cases, which I can only surmise our colleagues have not read, let's zero in on Trump's executive order contradicting the very first sentence of the 14th Amendment, which says that any person born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof is a citizen of the United States. Trump got struck down by a Reagan judge, a Biden judge, an Obama judge, and a Bush judge. The Reagan judge said, quote, I've been on the bench for 4 decades. I can't remember another case where the question presented is as clear as this one. This is a blatantly unconstitutional order. Blatantly. This is from a Reagan judge. Now, my colleagues seem to think that an executive order is greater than a law, or the Constitution itself. But an executive order cannot trump a federal statute, much less the Constitution. An executive order is just an order to the executive bureaucracy to follow a policy unless and until it's countermanded by law, by the courts. Many of our colleagues are following Trump and Musk in calling for impeachment right now. There have been only 15 federal judges impeached in all of American history, always for serious professional misconduct, like taking bribes, stealing from the court, or habitual drunkenness, not even occasional drunkenness, habitual drunkenness on the bench. Congress has never defined a doctrinal or interpretive disagreement as a high crime and misdemeanor, much less when the judge's reasoning was airtight correct. The spreading movement to impeach and attack judges is so alarming that Chief Justice Roberts issued a rare statement last week. He said, for more than 2 centuries, it's been established that impeachment is not an appropriate response to disagreement concerning a judicial decision. The proper response, of course, is to appeal the decision. And to be fair, Chairman Issa expressed his strong disapproval of these wanted posters yesterday in the Rules Committee. Now, for some members, talk of impeaching these so-called rogue judges is just fun and games. But the vicious assault, the vicious rhetorical assault on the judiciary has turned into something more sinister in certain quarters. Actual violent threats, bomb threats, direct intimidation. Judge Boasberg, the Bush appointee, must endure scandalous online attacks and insults by President Trump and Elon Musk and their followers. Even worse, the campaign of vilification has spread to Judge Boasberg's family, including outrageous attacks on his daughter, who's had her photo and her place of work posted on social media by Elon Musk to his 290 million followers. These threats follow an actual bomb threat made to the sister of Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett. And there are numerous other threats taking place today. And of course, we've seen threats and actual violence and murders take place in the past. I call on my colleagues right now to call off the campaign to impeach federal judges for doing their jobs. I call on them to demand that the Trump administration comply with all judicial orders while appealing whichever ones they want to appeal, and to demand the return of people unlawfully taken to El Salvador on that so-called plane full of gangbangers. And I especially call on them today to denounce all violent threats, doxing, online vilification, and threats against our judges. This is the Judiciary Committee of the United States House of Representatives, and we should act like it. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
I thank the gentleman. I ask unanimous consent that the official statement by ICE officials agreeing that there was not 100% accuracy in Mr. Garcia's arrest, that in fact he was a prominent member of MS-13, a different recognized terrorist group. Without objection, so ordered. Without objection, all other opening statements will be included in the record. I'd now like...
All right, what's happening, guys? P here, your host, Mr. Moose. Welcome back to another episode of We the People. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. All right. I am grateful to have you here today. I have some good clips for you. First and foremost, I got a clip of Jamie Raskins coming off sideways as usual. You know how Jamie Raskins falls off the boat every now and then, right? Allegedly. I'm just saying. But it's some good video content of Jamie Raskins trying to convince us of how Trump just rounded up all these illegal Venezuelans, right? And put them on a plane to El Salvador. Their name's trendy, aragua. They are United States citizens, and we love them. My name is Jamie Raskin, and I don't know what to do. I need my Venezuelan back, so that way I can get a salad made. How do I get a salad made if I don't have my Venezuelan people? Huh? Tells me. You dumbass. First and foremost, let me stop that one and say this right here, right? I get it why Trump said what he said, because I'm quite sure if Trump don't let these people stay, he's not going to get reelected. There's some people pissed off about that, right? And Trump, I agree with you. You're doing the right thing. If there's people that have been here for 10, 15 years and they ain't bothered nobody, man, leave them alone, right? Let them go about their business, everyday business. They ain't breaking no law. They ain't been in no trouble. They got kids that are good kids, right? I can personally speak up for one family that is absolutely that way. One family. I don't know. I ain't got a whole huge circle of Spanish people that deal with me, right? But I got one person that is very close to me that is in love with a Spanish young man, and he treats her with much respect. And I got a lot of respect and love for that young man for doing that. But his mom and dad, you know what I mean? And he was born here, but his mom and dad came here. And he's now 25, 24, 20, 23, maybe 24. 24, 25, somewhere in that area, right? But he's a good kid. He don't, no trouble, bro. He works. All right? He works. So yeah, I get that. That's cool. But like Jamie Raskins' point is that these people didn't kill nobody. These people didn't rape nobody. These people don't belong to no rape gangs and stuff like that, right? Wrong. Wrong, Jamie Raskins. Wrong. What is wrong with you Democrats, bro? I was a Democrat, bro. You have sickened me to the end now. I don't want nothing to do with you. I have changed my voter's card. I now got the black card, baby. I'm a Republican. MAGA. MAGA. Yeah, MAGA. Hey, I'm trying to tell you, Jack, you got to get with it. The man is doing tremendous things for the working class of this country. Jamie Raskins, it's politicians like you and the bureaucrats that you represent that robbed the people like me. We, the people. I remember at one hearing where Jamie Raskins was talking, and he was talking about Trump, and he said it's not Trump's government, it's our government. It's our government. It's our. You really emphasize how that this government belongs to you, Jamie Raskins. Yes, you did. You're a tyrant, Jamie. And I know the people in your district ain't going to vote you out, but we're sure going to try. I'm in Maryland, and we're sure going to try because you're a disgrace to the people. The way I cannot believe you called for no violence, no doxing, when you doxed people that drove Teslas. When your side did that, your side was firebombing Teslas, Jamie Raskins, and you were okay with it. You may not have threw the Molotov cocktail, but you sure did proverbially light it with your rhetoric. You are a true instigator of the people. You know how to light the flame in the people, that's for sure, Raskins. You know what you're doing. You're a certified politician. Wrapped around with a little mixture of bureaucrat, a little Soros sprinkled up in you. On you, whatever. In you, on you. Huh? You know. Let's not get all homophobic now. What? Man, listen. Uh, no respect is due to a liar. And Jamie Raskins is a certified liar. I call for the American people that live in Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland, where Jamie Raskins is from, in Maryland. His constituents, the people that are in his district, I call on you to vote Jamie Raskins out. It is not the Democratic time right now. It is time for MAGA. It is the conservative time. I just think that you guys need to really see what's going on around you. Now, after Jamie Raskins makes a fool of himself with this law, right? I'm gonna let Roland from Epic Times fill you in on what really happened with this law, and come to find out, man. You see what lawfare gets you, cheating gets you. You see what cheating gets you, Jamie Raskins. You see what cheating gets you. You knew you weren't going to find a judge that would take that in Texas, so you took it to Columbia, the state of Columbia, the District of Columbia, state of Columbia, District of Columbia, and you tried to run it through there. Well, that was what got it thrown out. The fact that they're not even there. They're not even in the District of Columbia. You got to have it done in their venue. What are you doing? You thought that would slide through, huh? Well, guess what slid through? That plane. That's a sea cut. Stupid. Anyway, check out my man Roland. And guys, do me a favor. I'll never ask you for money. And I'll never ask you for a super chat. None of that, right? But I will ask you to please hit that subscribe button and give it a like, man. Support that channel. That is the way to get back to the people. All right, I'm not here to make nothing off of this. I'm not here to get rich. I live at work, bro. I'm humble, right? I'm humble. I just want to bring you guys the truth, man, because there's not enough media out there to bring the truth. All right, and I check this out for myself. You see, I don't have a bunch of videos back to 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 back. No, I ain't no producer. I'm not computer savvy, but I can throw one of these schmackers together, and I got to start it here at my computer, run it through, and then drop it from here in a file onto my phone, and then run it through the program on my phone, and now we got a video. But it's a 2-day affair, so we got to get started today. Anyway, I really appreciate you guys, man. Hey, and I'm here. Leave me a comment. Talk to me. Tell me what you think about this, right? What do you think about Trump doing this, right? I believe that Trump, man, listen, we didn't have nobody that tried to help us. We didn't have nobody trying to save the people, bro. They was ready to throw it to us, bro. And Trump stepped in and saved us. He didn't have to do that. He could have been gone. He had all that money to go, bro. He didn't need to do this. He ain't doing this because he's trying to get rich. He can't get rich no more right now. He had to divest of his shit, all his stuff. So, and he still donates his paycheck from being president. Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Love y'all, man. I'm just sitting here thinking, like, I get amazed. My head's full right now with information. I'm hitting it every day. I'm hitting it every day. I have to. It's so much of it. It's very important that you guys know that our president is not a dictator. Our president is the United States president of these great Americas. He is shaping the country again. The country was dismantled over years. Over years. I mean, you can go all the way back. All the way back. I mean, you could probably trace it all the way back to slavery if you really wanted to. Right? If you go right around in that time period in that area, I'm quite sure they were putting bills inside of the bills for the Emancipation Proclamation and stuff like that, already setting things in progress and putting things in place. I'm trying to tell you, man, these people are devious. And Democrats are devious, bro. And that's the truth. That's what we were a party for, to stop them. And that's what we're going to do. Y'all have a great one, man. Hey, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. Don't forget to smash that like button. And hey, we got them Trump shirts. Yeah, and we can do tumblers. I'm thinking about doing my tumbler with one just so that way I can show it off, right? It's a possibility. But I love you guys. You are amazing. Yeah. Thank you, Trump, for doing what you're doing, man. Thank you for being 10 steps ahead of the game, guys. That's how you treat life. Stay motivated. Stay on your toes. Be aware of your surroundings at all times. Never act spontaneous. Never. Men are calculated. If you're a predator, right? A wolf, right? You have to be calculated. Even the piece of shit predator is calculated. Don't be flimsy like a clown. Be calculated. Don't be spontaneous. Don't be edgy. Be a strong man. That's our president. A strong. Bring strength back to the White House. That's right. I love you guys, man. You know that? I don't know if I said it before. I don't know. I may have. But just in case I didn't, I love you guys, man. Smash that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Check these clips out. Get right.
Beginning of Trump's second term in office, he invoked something called the Alien Enemies Act. Signed into law all the way back in the year 1798, it allows the sitting president of the United States to deport anyone in the country who is not an American citizen if that person happens to be from a country with which there is a declared war or there is a threatened or attempted invasion or predatory incursion. Now, once invoking that particular law, the Trump administration did the following. They had the State Department designate the trendy Aragua gang as an actual foreign terrorist organization. Then, the Trump administration made the argument that the Venezuelan government effectively gives marching orders to Venezuelan gangs who then cross the U.S. southern border, and therefore, what's actually happening at the border is a state-sponsored predatory incursion, which is exactly the prerequisite for the invocation of the Alien Enemies Act. Then, using this pretext, the Trump administration began rounding up the illegal aliens from Venezuela and sending them on flights, either back to their home country or to the large detention center that was recently built over in El Salvador. Quote, Trump's invocation of the centuries-old Alien Enemies Act said that trendy Aragua has invaded the United States and continues to invade, attempt to invade, and threaten to invade the country. It authorized officials to immediately apprehend, detain, and remove all trendy Aragua members in the United States who are older than 13 years of age and who are not naturalized or lawful permanent residents. However, several of the Venezuelan deportees filed a lawsuit against the administration and were able to get a federal judge to issue a restraining order. Quote, lawyers for the Venezuelans told U.S. District Judge James Boasberg in the lawsuit that the Alien Enemies Act was improperly being used against nationals of a country, Venezuela, with whom the United States is not at war, which is not invading the United States, and which has not launched a predatory incursion into the United States. Judge Boasberg sided with the plaintiffs, entering restraining orders within hours and later keeping the orders in place. With those restraining orders in place, the Trump administration had effectively their hands tied in regards to deporting these alleged Venezuelan gang members. And the plaintiffs in the case, which included a group of Venezuelan nationals, well, they welcomed the court's decision, saying that the restraining order that was filed by the judge, quote, ensures that, based on an unprecedented peacetime invocation of the Alien Enemies Act, additional individuals are not hurried off to a brutal foreign prison, potentially for the rest of their lives, without judicial process. However, the Trump administration, they immediately filed an appeal against the restraining order, but they lost that appeal, which effectively blocked them from being able to run deportation flights. And so the administration, they filed another emergency appeal all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court, hoping that the highest court will overturn these restraining orders. Included among the briefings that were submitted to the court, you had the U.S. Solicitor General, representing the Trump administration, put the case in the following terms, sort of to make the constitutional argument for why this case is so important. Quote, this case presents fundamental questions about who decides how to conduct sensitive national security-related operations in this country, the president through Article 2 or the judiciary through temporary restraining orders. And within just a single week, which is very fast for the U.S. Supreme Court, the court sided with the administration. On Monday of this week, in an unsigned opinion, the U.S. Supreme Court granted President Trump's request by writing the following, quote, we grant the application and vacate the temporary restraining orders. This decision, it applies to two of the original restraining orders as well as the extension that was issued last month by Judge Boasberg, meaning it's a practical matter that all the restraining orders have now been wiped off the table. Although it is worth mentioning that the reason that the majority of the U.S. Supreme Court sided with President Trump was actually due to a technical reason. The justices wrote that the case was wrongly filed in Washington, D.C., rather than in the Southern District of Texas, where the illegal immigrants are currently being held. And for your reference, this type of a practice is known as forum shopping, where plaintiffs look to file their case in a district that they believe will be more amenable to their cause. And so in this case, instead of filing in Texas, where they were being held, the Venezuelans filed their petition in Washington, D.C. Judge James Boasberg is the chief judge of the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia, and he's the one who issued the restraining orders against the Trump administration. However, the Supreme Court said that this makes no sense. Quote, the detainees are confined in Texas, so venue is improper in the District of Columbia. As a result, the government is likely to succeed on the merits of this action. The detainees must receive notice after the date of this order that they are subject to removal under the Act. The notice must be afforded within a reasonable time and in such a manner as will allow them to actually seek habeas relief in the proper venue before such removal occurs. Which is a bit ironic because the plaintiffs likely decided to file in Washington, D.C. in order to increase their likelihood of getting a judge who would issue a restraining order. They succeeded at that. However, because they filed in a district that had nothing to do with them, that turned out to be their undoing, since the U.S. Supreme Court just stated in this opinion that the case will likely get thrown out on technical grounds. They're not even looking at whether the Alien Enemies Act was properly applied or not. That is not even relevant here. They're just basing their decision on the technical.
All right, guys, just a short little interlude. If you guys watched this far, I really appreciate you. You are amazing. Thank you very much for supporting We the People. Listen, I'm gonna keep on bringing it to you raw and uncut, guys. As I get them, I'm going to pump them out to you. And I just want to say thank you. I don't know what's up with this thing. I got to get a new sound card and a new mic so I can start this podcasting up the right way. This media. Tomorrow I get the new gaming home console. It's amazing, is what it is. All right. I'll let you know. I'll read it all to you when I get it. But I want to get a better mic and a better sound card. Better sound card, better equipment. Because I want to bring you quality. This is junk stuff. It's Chinese junk stuff. So I'm working on doing that now. I'm pulling some money together to do it. It's going to cost a little bit, but I'm going to get it. It's going to happen. So just make sure you guys smash that subscribe button, hit that like, and share the video if possible. But liking is a big part of it. And that helps us to get in the algorithm. It helps us get up to the point where we can earn a revenue for the videos that we make. And I really appreciate you for that. And here's the last cut from Roland to finish it up on the final outcome of the Supreme Court's decision to allow the deportations to continue. And I thank you once again. See you on the next video. And remember, you're always going to get the truth from right here. We, the people. Because the people deserve the truth. I love you guys. Thank you.
Administration themselves were quite satisfied with this turn of events. For instance, Attorney General Pam Bondi, she released the following statement after this Supreme Court decision came out. Quote, "Tonight's decision is a landmark victory for the rule of law. An activist judge in Washington, D.C. does not have the jurisdiction to seize control of President Trump's authority to conduct foreign policy and keep the American people safe. The Department of Justice will continue fighting in court to make America safe again." Likewise, you had Trump himself take to his own social media platform, Truth Social, to say the following. "The Supreme Court has upheld the rule of law in our nation by allowing a president, whoever that may be, to be able to secure our borders and protect our families and our country itself. A great day for justice in America." Now, in terms of the next steps, Judge Boasberg, citing the U.S. Supreme Court decision, he canceled a hearing that was scheduled for this Tuesday in Washington, D.C. In the order that he issued canceling the meeting, he wrote the following about the next steps. Quote, "In yesterday's ruling, vacating this court's temporary restraining orders, the Supreme Court held that plaintiffs cannot be deported under the Alien Enemies Act without an opportunity to challenge their removal in federal court. It also determined that the appropriate venue for such proceedings is the Southern District of Texas or wherever plaintiffs are currently held. This court accordingly orders that today's preliminary injunction hearing is vacated." Now, as of right now, the plaintiffs have not refiled their case in the Southern District of Texas or anywhere else, but given their predicament, they likely will in the very near future. And once they do, we'll just have to see how the judge handles that case. Whether or not he or she, whether they're in Texas or anywhere else, will also file an emergency restraining order handcuffing the administration. We'll just have to wait and see. Until then, if you'd like to go deeper into the story, I will throw both the Supreme Court ruling as well as the dissenting opinions, which are also kind of interesting to read. I'll throw all those down into the description box below if you're the type of person that likes to dig into the weeds. And all I ask in return is that if you haven't already, smash that like button so that this video can reach ever more people. And also, of course, smash that subscribe button.